grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I am a son of an all-powerful and perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict living in the miracle of recovery, and I am here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, of my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, it's been a few weeks since you and I got together because you've been out traveling the world. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M., also known as the spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation. I'm a grateful member of RICO 12 and many other fellowships that, God has put onto my life and put on my heart. And I'm also known as Noodle Nikki. And I'm just grateful for this platform, for Justin B., and getting me home safe so I could be in the Noodle studio, which is in my bedroom, and where we record my podcast, because I'm in Toronto, Canada, and my good friend Justin is in America on the West Coast. And I've just been out gallivanting because God has me in all these different roles. And this last few weeks, I was assigned the role of a family member to my daughter's, my ex-husband's family's Hungarian, and they own a cooperage. They make wine barrels in Hungary, and because Hungarian oak is so special. And I flew out there for one of the cousins' 50th birthdays, and we just spoiled me rotten. And my boyfriend met me there, Mr. Luxembourg, and I didn't get on a plane in a haste and get all crazy, Justin. We had a nice time, and it's a beautiful city. And the architecture out there, it's like, no, these weren't built in 1892. These were built by aliens from another nation, because I've never seen buildings and structures so beautifully well kept, especially after, wars and the history there. So I'm just grateful that God's given me this life beyond my wildest dreams. I was a woman, Justin, who was going to kill myself and kill my lover, and not the one that I just traveled with. So I'm grateful to be reborn, have a fellowship I crave, and be back at the table, armed with the facts about myself, this disease, and ready to help somebody who's looking for a solution.
Thank you, Nikki, for sharing that. And I also spent some time in Eastern Europe a while back and just love the architecture that was not destroyed by war or by tyranny and communism, because that architecture is brutal. But anyways, grateful to have you back, and we're going to get right back into Noodle with Nikki. And what we do here with Noodle It Out with Nikki M is we take questions that come to us from people who email us at noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, people who are in the Noodle chat, people we work with on a day-to-day basis who bring questions to us, and we take those questions to the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous to find solutions to the things that are troubling us from day to day. So, Nikki, what I'd like to do is get a question that came in a little bit ago, and I'm just going to read this. This is I'm actually going to summarize it a little bit, but we'll get into this. And this came in to you. It was a message that was sent to you. Person says, can you tell me what to do in a situation when my sponsee, who stepped out for whatever reason in the past, maybe life was going great and they're like, all right, I don't need to work the steps, I don't need the fellowship, I'm doing great now. They stepped out, and then they're deciding to come back and start the steps over. Their life has fallen to pieces. They're in a big mess and maybe even threatening suicide to kill themselves. What do we do in those situations? What does the book say, Nikki?
Wow, it says a lot about this subject, Justin, and I'm grateful that we have this platform again. This is what we do. Write your questions in. And what qualifies me? Let me just qualify real quick why I have been given power. I've tapped power, says my book, that I can answer these questions, and so can Justin, because If you're like me and my friend Justin B, why, and I'll qualify us both real quick, Justin. If when we want to stop what? Stop whatever addiction, affliction is on us at that moment, and we can't control the amount of thoughts, actions, things we take and do. We have placed ourselves beyond human aid. Okay, we've placed ourselves beyond human aid, and we're suffering. Justin B and Nikki M, we're suffering from an illness that only a spiritual solution, and I like to say every day, can conquer. See, that's on page 44 of our big book. We're suffering from an illness. So I want to ask this sponsee, have you armed your sponsee, sorry, the sponsor, because it's a sponsor, and now the sponsees come back, and thank God, let's just all take a moment and give, praise and thanks to the creator of the universe that this soul found their way back in the room. Because Justin, you said it. It says in our book on page 30, many, not just a few, many pursue it to the gates of insanity or death. What does that mean? Page 16. They refused to see this way of life. They could not, would not, and then they kill themselves. I mean, that's why my mom lives with me forever. This family disease of alcoholism led her husband of 25 years to take a pistol and do the ultimate act. And so, I'm suffering from this family disease forever and grateful. So the sponsee stepped down and has come back. Why? Number one, they're beyond human aid, everybody. It says page 24. It says, let me find my book. I've always got to bend down and reach for it. My little Noodle studio. I need a desk. I need a computer. I'm on my phone and I'm grateful. Page 24. When this sort of thinking, see, to the sponsor, arm yourself with the facts about this disease. Page 18, armed with the facts about yourself and about this disease. Here it is. When the sort of thinking, this is on page 24, bottom paragraph, is fully established in an individual with alcoholic tendencies. And what does that mean, everybody? Because, see, a lot of people are just staying sober. They're just not drinking, not using food, sex, porn, working, blotting out the consciousness of their existence. But they still have the alcoholic tendencies. He has placed themselves beyond human aid, and unless locked up, may die or go permanently insane. So that's what's happened to our friend. They've come back. Thank God they've made it back into the rooms without killing themselves or killing someone else. Their life has fallen to pieces. So what do? Well, we show them. My book says, show them. See, that's our job. Our job is to show them that they're sick, right? We tell the newcomer about our drinking, about our thinking, about our using, about our habits, about our symptoms. And then we tell them, again, show them how baffled we were. But here it is. We need to show the newcomer. So your sponsees come back. Now you're going to show them the mental twist, page 92, how their mind lied to them. Oh, it's going to be different this time, but it wasn't, sponsee. Oh, you need to really see you're beyond human aid. You need to go back to rehab. You need to go back to therapy. You need to go back to, I'll get a dog and that will be better. Me, Justin, I went and had a baby. See, I get real weird in my disease. So I went back out. Well, actually, I was never in the rooms, to be honest. I just was using all the human aids first. So when I came in and sat down with my sponsor and he said, oh, your willpower doesn't work, the promises, the controlled thinking and behavior, controlled drinking, controlled using, I'll only watch one scene from the porn. You know what I mean, Justin? I'll only send one text to that girl, even though I'm married. Like, wake yourself up. You're beyond, show your sponsee how they're beyond human aid. Having a sponsor, I'm going to fail you because I'm going to be in Budapest having the time of my life. Show them how another child, see, Nikki, your life wasn't working and you thought, I had a daughter, but now I need a son. Oh, and God's good, everybody. God is great. You will get what you want. I got a son. I wasn't about to have a daughter again. You see, show them keeping busy. Oh, if I get more money, once I finish school, once I get the Cadillac, once I get the fur coats, once I arrive. Nope, lies. So you have to show them the mental twist, how your mind's going to lie to you, which is going to lead to the first drink, the first thought, the first act, the first bite of the spree. Okay, that's on page 92. And you're going to show them again how their addict life, this is in the doctor's opinion, how their addict life is their only normal one, how they can't differentiate the true from the false. So now, see, if you're a good sponsor and your sponsees come back, you're grateful because like many people have to go out and burn all the human aids and lose everything. They have to see the unmanageability that now they've lost the wife. Now they've lost the job. Now they're literally living under the bridge. Some of us are dying in our $1 million homes, Justin, going, what happened? That's really bad. I was there, had everything. And then what? Because there's nothing now else to get. So you've lined your sponsee up and you've armed them with the facts about themselves. Because it says, and this is on page XXVIII, the doctor's opinion, it says, this is repeated over and over again. And unless this person, who's this person? Page 24, the person with alcoholic tendencies, your sponsee, even you, sponsor, unless we can experience an entire psychic change. What's the psychic change? It's a mind and soul change. It's what our friend and everybody, we've paused the roundtable recording that we do every Thursday, but to go back, because we have 2 years of recordings, okay? And I want you to go back, because unless you have a psychic change every day, there's going to be little hope of your recovery. See, a mind and a soul change. And the reason I brought up the roundtable, Justin, is because we dove deep with David Green, who said, you need a belief system change. You need a new attitude, page 72. So unless your sponsee has a psychic, a mind and soul change every day. I'm a woman of God. I don't live like that anymore. I'm a man of God. What am I doing worrying? I trust page 68. I trust an infinite God rather than my finite self. Justin, I've been accused of being a cult leader many times, actually, because I'm very I'm aggressive. And sometimes I listen back to our podcast. I'm like, wow, Nikki, you sound real angry, but why? Page 98 asked me to burn into the burn. Doesn't say gently. It says burn into the consciousness of anyone that they can get better regardless of anyone or anything. See, that's my job, is to be helpful. And I chose this course, page 66, this course, not the course of my friends who are who are Muslims, or they're Jewish, or they're on the yoga mat, or my Mormon friends, or my Jehovah Witness friends, or my what are they, the tarot reading card crystal reading friends. I've chose a big book 12-step course that comes with a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that will page 42 solve all your problems. So you went out there and you tried another way, another method, another old ideal, old belief system, and it doesn't work. So you're here. So now what do we do? You see, Justin, give me some thoughts and then we'll talk into the solution of what you do when your sponsee steps out and they come back. Because I've got a thorough step one. I've armed them with their facts. I've got the book in between us. I'm showing them a couple things and then we'll get into what we do next. So what are you thinking about this, sir?
Yeah, as you're sharing this with me, I have a lot of sponsees that I've worked with over the years who, we get through the steps. I set them free and say, hey, go sponsor like a madman. Go get out there and share the message. And sometimes those people just kind of fall off the map, And a year or two later, I'll get a reach out from them saying, hey, I'm here. I'm still sober, but I'm miserable. And I'll say, hey, I haven't seen you around, haven't heard from you for a while. how's your work? How's your you sponsoring? That's one of the first questions I ask, and almost universally is no, I haven't sponsored for a while. And they're miserable. Their life is falling back apart, and they're going back into those things. And I see where this is at. So I've experienced this, whether it be somebody who's blowing their life back up or somebody who's just in the doldrums of meh living. And that's, I love what we're doing here. So let's get into the solution now, unless you have other comments on that.
Well, I just want to comment on that. What does my friend Justin B mean, sponsor like a madman? Okay, I love that. I wrote that down. Like, what does he mean, sponsor like a madman? That's on page 15, everybody. It says, when all other measures fail, line out, I'm beyond human aid. Nothing's going to help me. Not a new wife, not a geographical location. I need to live in Costa Rica on the coast with my, no. I need another religion. Oh, everybody, yeah, you try that one? Another church. It's my pastor. You understand, like, go deep with these people. You're beyond human aid. And it says, when all other measures fail, work with another addict, alcoholic, work with another human who's suffering like you from the family disease of alcoholism. Justin has never had a drink, and he can take a raging alcoholic through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Why? Because both people, Justin, the Al-Anon, the sex and love addict, the alcoholic, the heroin addict, the gambler, the emotional Al-Anon, sex-anon, co-anon. What happened? You're all suffering from the same thing. You're beyond human aid, and you've all lost the same thing, including the will to live. So this goes real deep. So that's what we mean, like, sponsor like a mad woman, sponsor like a mad man, because there's nothing on the planet. I just got back, like we said at the beginning, from Europe. And what's the first thing I had lined up, Justin? You know me. I didn't have my therapist lined up. I didn't have someone new, a new dog, a new cat, and even a new mom who lives with me forever. I had a new sponsee. Johnny Q, you're out there, you're going to hear this, and you've been in the rooms 10 years, but you weren't getting freedom because you were sober off your drugs and alcohol, and you wanted to kill your lover just like me. And you said, wow, that woman's like me. And we're in this work together, and you're saving my day, sir. So thank you. So here it is. You've got your sponsee right where you want them. Everybody, page 28, the desperation of a drowning person every day. You got them right where you want them. So what do we do next? We take them through the steps if they haven't already been through the steps. But Nikki, I'm sponsoring and I don't have room. Better send them to your sponsee. See, now you're starting your pyramid. Okay, yeah. Hey, police people out there, I'm not talking the pyramid scheme where you all put in $25,000 and the people at the bottom lose everything. We're talking the pyramid for God, where you bring people in and all you do is watch miracles, because everybody gets the miracle. I'm sorry, if they do the work, this is what happens. And so, oh, Nikki, I can't take her back through. I'm loaded with sponsees. Perfect. Throw your sponsee a bone, as my sponsor says. I'll throw you a bone. Nikki, can you take this sex addict through? Because I've got a guy just on heroin over here. Of course I can. Okay, you get it. Like, this is how we go. And so I'll throw, I've thrown, interesting, like I'll throw a hardcore codependent to my gambling, cocaine anonymous sponsee, and he wakes them so up. And it's amazing to watch, because why? He's got 2 daughters and he's got a wife. And now he understands. You see what I mean? We're all mirror reflections. So send your sponsees who come back dying, not only just to your sponsees, but to your people that you're commencing shoulder to shoulder with. Justin, I've got someone in your time zone. They're coming back to the rooms. Do you have room? Nikki, I don't. I got my sponsee. Yeah, this is how we, page 52, the substitution, the fellowship we crave. We commence shoulder to shoulder. Page 152, 153, our common journey. So that's what you do. And then what do you do? Say they've already worked the 12 steps. What do? You recap with them real quick. And the way I sponsor, I'm in a 30-page condensed workbook of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'll just do a real condensed version real quick. I'll recap. Okay, let's recap. What do you need to do here? Well, I have to sponsor, but that's not in the big book. So I have to help others. It's the foundation stone of my recovery. Good. What else do you need to do? Well, I'm sick. I can't differentiate the true from the false, and I need a psychic change every day. Good. What else? Oh, okay, that's right. I'm beyond human aid. And I've lost everything. And if when I honestly want to quit, I can't. So I'm suffering an illness that only a spiritual experience every day will conquer. Great. What's the next thing you need to do? Well, I need to realize that our behavior patterns vary so I can sponsor anybody. And then I got to smash the idea that I'm like anybody else and that I only have two choices. I can blot out the consciousness of my existence with a bunch of stuff, or I can accept spiritual help every day. Great. What do you need to do next? Well, I've been half measuring it. So I got to get willing, honest, and open-minded every day. Great. What do you need to do? I need to make the approach, says my big book. It doesn't say raise your hand. So I need to get out there and start making the approach to the still suffering addict. And I don't want to spoil later opportunities. So I need them desperate like I am right now. Great. What do you need to do? I need to look for God deep down inside because that's where I'm going to find it. I was trying to find it in this guy's pants, Nikki, in this woman's shirt, Nikki, in my bank account, Nikki, in my government, Nikki. That's right. You're only going to find it deep down inside. So what do you need to do, Sponsee, so you can sponsor? I need to sweep away my prejudice, page 55, every day. I need to sweep away my prejudice. I've never been here before. I need to think honestly. I can't do life. I need Justin. I need Nikki. I need this book. I need my God Squad. I need my weekly meeting. I need to remember that I'm not a saint. I'm going to mess up, but I got to do this or I'm going to die. And I got to search diligently within myself every day. And I got to think honestly. Come on, this is honest. God is good. It's not a veil of tears. What's the next thing? I got to make a decision every day to hire God and fire me. Sincere. I wasn't sincere about it, Nikki. You need to be sincere. And you need to, every day, a moral inventory, not what you did. I don't care what you did. Moral, why did you do it? Because I'm selfish, I'm self-centered. So I need to put out of my mind every day the wrongs others are doing. I'm always at fault. I'm always to blame. Somewhere I'm not accepting life enough. Somewhere I'm not being kind and loving enough. Somewhere I'm not trusting this process enough. And then I got to admit to somebody just like me. See, I can tell Justin something. We haven't been at the table for weeks, friends. And I can say, like, Justin, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, me too. I get it. He doesn't look at me like I'm coming from outer space. And then every day, after I talk to the right person and admit to God every day, I got to be step 6, willing to stop doing the things I want to do, like leave the room. I got to stay here and accept this is my way of living. And step 7 every day, I got to get humble. I need to shh. I need to shh and breathe and get humble and start doing the things I don't want to do, like make my bed and sponsor and eat right. Little things. And then every day I got to look at this list of people I've harmed. Oh, and that's right. It's a lifestyle. So I harm the human race. Anytime I do anything to you, I'm doing it to me because we're all united under one God, one universe, one belief system, a loving, powerful God. And I need to make these amends, which is change behavior every day. I do my step 10 all the time, continuing to take my own inventory. And when, just promptly admitting it and growing in effectiveness and understanding every day as I make my amends, I seek God and improve conscious contact. And then I practice these principles in all my affairs all day, every day. And I don't do it perfect. Justin?
It's a beautiful walk through the steps and a beautiful walk through to how we help somebody who's coming back, how we be a maximum service to them and our fellows and to God in that process. I'm just grateful to be back at this table with you, Nikki. It's been a few weeks and it's good to be back with you. Do you have any final thoughts before we close this out?
Well, just that, really, this is our medicine. Like we think our medicine is something else. And the book clearly says it. Johnny Q, I'll talk directly to you because, you said it. We're not drilling it enough in the rooms that sponsorship is everything. And I have a sponsor named Cameron F., who that's his fellowship, the Big Book Sponsorship Group. And he'll take anyone and everyone because this is a way of living. This is a page 28, a design for living that really works in rough going. And Justin and I were talking about it, page 23. This all centers in our mind. The spiritual attack, the spiritual warfare is in our mind. Because really, if you live in the now, page 59, may you find God now, nothing is missing. So don't leave the rooms. That's my final thought is stay. I mean, you, Justin, you can go out with our, come in, sit down. I'm not going to say it because you do it so well, Mr. Radio Voice. But Sponsee stepped out and came back. Here it is. Don't leave. It says life fallen to pieces. My book on page 15 says there will be certain trials and low spots. People are going to get sick. People are going to die. Governments are going to do weird things. What do? We live this design for living every day. Justin?
Thank you, Nikki. It's good to be back with you. And everybody, whether you find yourself in the shoes of this sponsor whose sponsee is coming back after going out, or you're in the shoes of this sponsee who's like, oh, I thought I had this taken care of and now my life is a wreck. Just come back at it. Get at it. Jump into the big book. Jump into the principles that were laid out so beautifully by Nikki of the steps and get back to it. It's never too late until it's too late. But keep coming back. It works when I work it. So work it. You are worth it.